Hi, and welcome to the 4th episode of the Latin Women in Action podcast. We'll be your host today. I'm Sam.
I'm Haydee, back here again.
And today we'll be talking about influencers and just their influence and how they've been put themselves into politics. And just
influencers kind of being a part of, any social impact to our politics, or what do they say, what do they think, and how that kind of affects us as the audience. How does that motivate us, or how does that change our perspective of them? You know, I'm sure there's many celebrities or influencers that lately, especially with what's been going on with Palestine and Israel, kind of see their true colors, or them being quiet about the situation, and you just kind of hey, what's
exactly. And especially with how much we've been I use TikTok all the time. I'm gonna be the first person to admit it. My screen time, bad.
Very bad.
Very bad.
Mine too.
And that's all of Gen Z, and or majority. It's we're always
especially
spending time.
Millennials, Gen
TikTok,
Zs, or even
Instagram.
I'm sure our my grandma is on TikTok too. She watches TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, she does here and there.
It's such a
phenomenon. My mom.
Yeah, it's such a phenomenon, and they do have influence, especially with how fast you can make content on TikTok. It's a 15-second video, and all you have to do is press go.
Yeah,
it's a lot different than when people could only make YouTube videos, which they do take a while to produce.
Yeah,
it takes a long time.
And it's convenient because, like you said, it's just a button, and then you just post it. Even then, when you think about it, I've seen CBS or Good Morning America, they have their own page on TikTok. So it's just a lot easier for them to get a clip of what they've done or said in the news today, and just post it. And that's how sometimes I get my news, or that's how sometimes I'm up to date with certain things. Obviously it's not the greatest thing, but
I use Twitter.
That's how our and that's how our society, that's how our how we're moving, our generation is.
We want fast content as well. Who wants to wait?
Exactly.
And I guess there's a caveat to that, because it's live updates basically sometimes, especially on Twitter and TikTok, when people have so much regular people have much more ability to post, right? With YouTube, even you had to learn how to edit, how to learn how to set up everything, and it's hard to make a 10-minute video. It's a lot of work. But with TikTok, we can make TikToks. Are we qualified to say what's gonna be in a TikTok? Maybe not.
No,
maybe.
And it's also, when we speak about other platforms than TikTok, we tend to look at Instagram, where it's just so easy to also post anything. You take a picture, or you can just have a picture of something, or a black screen, and just post what you want to say. And for instance, one of them being Kim Kardashian, when I used to be someone who admired or watched the Kardashians, and I stopped following the Kardashians. What I decided to do was unfollow Kim Kardashian because of what she had said during what's been going on between Israel and Palestine. And
she said
she had posted on her story saying that she feels for her Israeli Jewish friends, her coming from an Armenian background, and trying to sympathize with how many Armenia itself had a genocide.
But just to add in this, I think it's interesting when celebrities use a story only to address huge topics, because a story disappears after 24 hours. That's just how unimportant it is to them. They don't want to mess up their Instagram feed.
They don't want to be canceled, or they don't want to mess up their feed, like you said, or it's just they have to do it because of their press, or their management team is okay, you have to say something.
I just think it's so interesting whenever it's a celebrity drop, they're supporting Israel, they're supporting Palestine, but they say it on an Instagram story. And it's how many people are going to see that?
And it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Honestly, you being a billionaire, coming from $1 million, what do you call that? family, or like, for lack of a better term, but they're very privileged people, and they could have showed some sort of support for Palestine. Not some sort of, they should have support.
And their support has
everybody
power.
has their own, like, whole
Opinion,
perspective,
but
opinion, and stance about what's been going on. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's kind of, it was upsetting because it's just, are you really saying these things? And
or just
it just didn't make sense to me, and I just decided to unfollow her because and she has no relevance to what I'm doing now. Like,
and influencers, like, they have I mean, it's in their name. They have so much influence. Their words carry a lot more than they think that they do.
Powerful, very powerful,
and like
especially what they post.
Yeah, like, look at how they affect consumer culture. They can easily influence advertising and trends and consumer. Now imagine if they could influence people's ideas, like telling people to be more but then there's, like, also that caveat. It's like, should they be influencers or should they be politicians? Like, they're not, but there's some,
but it's so crazy because,
like,
when you think about even some politicians or, like, political advocates, like, when you look at AOC, how important, like, her role is, and she has a big major effect. Or even people like Sean King, him being a heavy political advocate, and him using his platform, his page, to demonstrate what's going on in today's society. What are social issues that we have? What is, like, what are the issues that we have here in America? Or helping or mentioning organizations that can help third world countries and stuff. So that in itself shows that these people care. These people want, like, to shine a light on these issues, and they want to help out in whichever way they can. And you see other celebrities just talk about this situation as if, like, oh, and then
it's
they're
over.
saying,
like,
oh, it's over, and they don't show any support, and it's
one Instagram
why one Instagram post? What is that gonna do? Are you gonna?
But they probably tweeted. They copied and pasted from.
Yeah, and one celebrity that I started looking more into is Huda Beauty.
Yeah, what's her name?
I think her name is Huda, and she's amazing. And what I love about her page too is that she doesn't really use effects on her makeup products and stuff like that. Like, how sometimes makeup artists, they tend to, like, go crazy with
clear,
like,
foundation, but it's all retouched.
Yeah, exactly. But she's, her being Middle Eastern, she supports Palestine, and I'm not sure if she has donated money. I'm not sure. I believe she has, but she's looked at brands and also other cosmetic brands that are helping or support Palestine. And I think that's great because it's just like,
she's also, like, she doesn't sell her products in Israel, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's such a great way to, like, support, but also in her realm. Yeah. Like, she's not going out there and, like, campaigning for right? She's doing her job.
A lot of people are afraid of that. Influence. A lot of people are afraid of that nowadays because they don't want to be canceled about supporting Palestine, or they don't want to, like, mention any of these things because of the opportunities that they'll lose on.
Yeah, because it's all for
just
them.
But you got to also think about humanity. Like, I understand in some aspects, but this is humanity. People are dying.
Yeah.
I'm a mom. I have a mom. I have a dad. I have a family. And to think that there's millions of people that are dying, have no light, have no food, have no water.
And a lot of these celebrities are, like, they're fine. Like, they're in comfortable positions. That if they, like, a lot of them, if they stopped working today, they wouldn't be too bad off. Like, they wouldn't
be as bad as anybody.
As anyone else. Like, they would still have opportunities. But
that's just the way they live. That's no, and you think about it's insane because I've seen influencers that have waited a month later after what's been going on to say something. And like I mentioned before, I think it's also because of, like, their management team saying, okay, you have to say something about this.
Yeah.
Just so that, you know, people
Are appeased.
Mm-hmm.
People are appeased. And it's, I think, like, and then there are some influencers who do speak out and then they get fired. But then there are others like Noah Schnapp who said, what? He's putting stickers on saying that, like, Zionism is sexy and being very pro-Israel. And yet, has anything happened to him? Like, his stance has not been as criticized, I feel like, as others.
It's just a lot of things don't make sense to me, especially how celebrities move about things. But obviously, you know, I think right now what matters is, you know, everybody's gonna have their own opinions. Everybody's gonna have their own, like, story or, like, way to influence us as the audience. I mean, even us, we can be influencers and you can try to say as much as you can.
But obviously our words are not going to have the same
of course
amount as, like, if Kim Kardashian says something, then there's a
bow down, like, okay,
like,
we're gonna do
like,
this.
Like, there's a ton of people who would be completely influenced by her, or, like, even, like,
kind of like voting campaigns too, like, go out and vote, or, like, or for
I'm pretty sure they're, when they do say go out and vote, like, it does, you
think, oh man, I should go vote. Okay,
like an actual politician saying go out and vote versus, like, Kim Kardashian saying go out and vote. Like, I feel like Kim Kardashian easily wins on that side. Like, her voice would have
and
easy
the thing
influence.
is that how do we become properly informed of, you know, okay, you're telling me to vote, but who am I going to vote for, or why am I voting for this person, or, you know, so on and so forth. So it's also a matter of, you know, going in depth of, you know, every situation of, like, okay, I'm gonna vote because these are issues that, you know, my country is going through, or issues that my district is going through, you know. So I think it's very important, you know, to note that, like, yeah, it is important to vote, but it's also very important to be informed about the social issues that are happening and why, or, you know, how can we better our city, or how can we better this country, or, you know, like, you know, what are the outcomes of, you know, this person being nominated. So yeah,
and it's hard. I mean, like, I find myself being influenced, and which is, like there's some level where I know that I shouldn't, like, okay, it's an influencer, like, they're celebrities, like, how much is their political opinion? But I find myself being, like, influencers, they do have, and sometimes I feel like they don't recognize that.
So I believe we can end with saying how the importance of, you know, being an influencer can be a positive but also a negative thing in so many aspects, because you know, we love to be up to date or just hear what are the thoughts and opinions of the people that we follow or admire, such as big celebrities. But then again, it's like, what else are we learning from them? If they're just saying these little statements or saying this, and it's like, how are they supporting, you know, whatever's going
holding
on,
them accountable.
Holding them accountable, or any social issue, you know. And it's a lot more. It's not just having some sort of a statement just to have a statement, and just so that, you know, you can not be canceled, or you don't, you know, you stay involved or up to date with what's going on, when in reality you don't really know much about anything. Or I don't know, like, there's many celebrities that are, you know, being politically active and, you know, showing support to, you know, countries that are, you know, not doing well, or, you know, they try to be as politically involved and yeah, just show their support. But there's others that, you know, just do it because they have to, or because their team is like, their press team is like, oh, well, you gotta say this, you gotta say that, just to be up to date.
In the end, I guess it's all a facade.
Yeah,
that's
for sure. Well,
thank you for watching.
That was it, and thank you for watching the episode 4 of Latin Women in Action podcast.
Please feel free to check out our information and our contact info in the comments below, just to learn a little bit more about the organization and what we have to offer.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
See you next week.